Please make sure to subscribe our channel and press the bell icon to get notified about our future videos. Question 1. You are designing a Canvas app to help a company manage employee vacation and leave requests. The app will use Microsoft Dataverse. You need to ensure that the app meets the following requirements. All employees must be able to submit request. After an employee submits a request, a manager must be able to set the values of a status column to approved or rejected. Employees must not be able to approve requests by other employees. Which two types of security you should use? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Select all answers that apply. Our options are A. App level, B. Form level, C. Column level, or D. Record level. The correct options are C and D, that is column level and record level. Field level security and record level security allow you to set up security at the field level for managers to update the status column. App level security does not protect your data storage location. Form level is only useful if you want to restrict how people enter or view data by certain attribute. Question 2. You are developing a model-driven app. The app must run specific code when a user selects a button on the ribbon. You need to ensure that only specific users can run the code. What should you use? Select only one answer. Our options are A. Custom API, B. Custom process action, C. Classic workflow, or D. Business rule. The correct option is A. Custom API. You should use a custom API because they can be configured to require specific privileges. Question 3. You manage a Microsoft Dataverse installation. You must create a custom data model to store company membership information of contacts. The membership must include a start and end date. Each contact can have memberships to different companies. Each company can have several members. You need to configure the behavior of the data model. Which two behaviors should you configure? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Select all answers that apply. Our options are A. Many-to-many relationship, B. Connection, C. Custom relationship table, or D. One-to-many relationship. The correct options are B and C, that is connection and custom relationship table. Because the membership must have a start and end date. The out-of-the-box relationships are not enough since there is no way of adding additional fields to them. Therefore, only the out-of-the-box connections and a custom relationship table meet the requirements. Question 4. You are building a custom application in Azure to process resumes for the HR department. The app will monitor submissions of resumes and parse the resumes. You need to parse the resumes and save contact and skills information into the common data service. Which mechanism should you use? Our options are A. Power Automate, B. Common Data Service Plugin, C. Web API, or D. Custom Workflow Activity. The correct option is A. Power Automate. Improve operational efficiency with a unified view of business data by creating flows that use Dataverse. For example, you can use Dataverse within Power Automate in these key ways. Create a flow to import data, export data, or take action when data changes. Instead of creating an approval loop through email, create a flow that stores approval state in an entity and then build a custom app in which users can approve or reject items. Question 5. You are creating a new page for a Power Apps portal. You need to display data from Microsoft Dataverse on the page. What should you use? Our options are A. Liquid, B. CSS, C. iframe, D. Bootstrap. The correct option is A. Liquid. Liquid is an open source template language that is integrated natively into Microsoft Power Apps portals. It acts as a bridge between Dataverse and the HTML or text output that is sent to the browser. Liquid can be used to add dynamic content to pages, and to create a variety of custom templates. Additionally, Liquid provides access only to the data and operations that are explicitly allowed by the portals. Question 6. You are developing a Power Platform solution for a medical practice. You create a custom table named doctors to record details about the doctors who work at the medical practice. You must be able to attach a PDF copy of a doctor's medical license to the row for each doctor. You need to configure the table. What should you do? Our options are A. Create a Power Automate flow to add attachments. B. Navigate to table options and enable attachments. C. Navigate to column options and enable attachments. Or D. Create relationships between the doctor table and the notes table. The correct option is C. Navigate to column options and enable attachments. A file column is used for storing file data up to a specified maximum size. A custom or customizable table can have 0 or more file columns plus a notes collection with 0 to 1 attachment in each note. Question 7. You plan to populate records in a Microsoft Dataverse entity containing an option set field. The source system has the label for the option set but not the corresponding integer value. You are using a non.NET programming language. You need to find the integer value for the option set. What should you do? Our options are A. Use Web API and use a pick list attribute metadata request. B. Use the organization service and execute a retrieve option set request. C. Use Web API and use an insert option value action. Or D. Use the organization service and execute a retrieve attribute request. The correct option is B. Use the organization service and execute a retrieve option set request. You can retrieve a global choice by name using the retrieve option set request message. Question 8. A company uses common data service rollup fields to calculate insurance exposure and risk profiles for customers. Users report that the system does not update values for the rollup fields when new insurance policies are written. You need to recalculate the value of the rollup fields immediately after a policy is created. What should you do? The correct option is D. Create a plugin that uses the calculate rollup field request method for the rollup field. Configure a step on the create event for the policy entity for this plugin. In case you want to calculate rollup field immediately whenever child record gets created, updated, or deleted, you can write custom C# plugin or custom workflow activity and use SDK message calculate rollup field request. Question 9. You manage a Microsoft Dataverse instance. You need to store aggregated estimated revenue of each account's open opportunities in a column in the accounts table. Which column type or column data type should you use? Select only one answer. Our options are A. Calculated, B. Rollup, C. Lookup, or D. Choice. The correct option is B. Rollup. A rollup column is correct because it is used to aggregate values from a related table that has a one-to-many relationship with the primary table. Question 10. You are developing a model-driven app. You need to ensure that users enter data in a consistent manner and follow the same steps every time they handle a customer service request. What should you implement? Select only one answer. Our options are A. Cloudflow, B. Business process flow, C. Workflow, or D. Business rule. The correct option is B. Business process flow. Business process flows walk users through a standard business process. Use a business process flow if you want everyone to handle customer service requests the same way. Question 11. The communication department for a company plans to add a publicly accessible survey page to the company's public website. You must add the new survey page to the company's public website and capture data from the page to a Microsoft Dataverse environment. Explicit user credentials must not be required to write survey data to Dataverse. You need to implement authentication. Which authentication mechanism should you implement? Our options are A. ADFS, B. Azure AD conditional access, C. Azure guest account, or D. client secret. The correct option is B. Azure AD conditional access. The correct steps: create an Azure AD application in the Azure portal, create an Azure AD application to represent the survey page. Then assign permissions to the application. Assign permission to the application to allow it to access the Dataverse environment. This can be done by using the Dataverse Web API. Then generate an access token. Use the Azure AD application to generate an access token. This token can be used to authenticate the application and access the Dataverse environment. Lastly, implement the authentication flow. Use the access token to authenticate the application and access the Dataverse environment. This can be done by using the Microsoft Authentication Library or the Azure AD Authentication Library. Question 12. You are a Power App maker. You are developing an app in a development environment. You create the following custom forms in the account entity. Form B contains a message that appears in the onload function of the form. Form C contains a message that appears in the onSave function of the form. You add the forms to a solution and export the solution as managed. Importing the managed solution into the test environment produces an error indicating the solution is missing a component. You need to identify the issue. What is the cause of the import error? Our options are A. The web resources were not added to the form before adding the form to the solution. B. The solution must be exported as an unmanaged solution. C. The web resources were not added to the solution before exporting. Or D. A copy of the form must be made before adding to the solution. The correct option among these is C. Symptoms. When attempting to import a solution in Microsoft Dynamics 365, the import fails with the following message. The import of the solution name, failed. The following components are missing in your system and are not included in the solution. Import the managed solution that contain these components and then try importing the solution again. Cause. This error occurs if you are trying to import a solution that depends on other components that are not in your Microsoft Dynamics 365 organization. Resolution. Review the missing component details shown in the import dialog. If there are other solutions listed that are not already imported in the organization where you are trying to import the solution, import those solutions first before trying to import the solution. Question 13. A company has an application that provides API access. You plan to connect to the API from a Canvas app by using a custom connector. You need to request information from the API developers so that you can create the custom connector. Which two types of files can you use? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. YML, B. WSDL, C. Open API definition, or D. Postman collection. The correct options are C and D, that is Open API definition and Postman collection. Open API definitions or Postman collections can be used to describe a custom connector. Question 14. A company plans to create an order processing app. When orders are created, the app will perform complex business logic and integrate with several external systems. Orders that have a large number of line items may take up to 6 minutes to complete. Processing for each order must be completed in one operation to avoid leaving records in an incomplete state. You need to recommend a solution for the company. What should you recommend? Our options are A. An asynchronous workflow that uses a custom workflow activity. B. A real-time workflow that uses a custom action. C. A webhook that connects to an Azure function. Or D. An asynchronous plugin. The correct option is B. A real-time workflow that uses a custom action. Real-time workflows roll back all changes if it fails. As the workflow is going through the process itself, if it fails, it will roll back all of the prior steps taken. Question 15. You are implementing custom business logic in a Power Apps portal. You need to use liquid templates to display dynamic content. To which three entities can you include liquid code? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Content snippet, B. Web page, C. Web template, D. Page template, or E. Portal settings. The correct options are B, C, and D, that is web page, web template, and page template. Liquid is an open source template language integrated into portals. It can be used to add dynamic content to pages and to create a wide variety of custom templates. Using Liquid, you can add dynamic content directly to the copy field of a web page or the content of a content snippet. Store source content by using web templates entirely through configuration within Power Apps for use throughout the Power Apps portal's content management system. Render a website header and primary navigation bar entirely through configuration within Power Apps. Note, page is one of the available Liquid objects. Question 16. A company is migrating from an on-premises Dynamics 365 installation to a Power Platform solution. You are creating plugins for the new solution. You need to register the plugins. Which isolation mode should you use? Our options are A. None, B. Global Assembly Cache, C. Sandbox, or D. Disk. The correct option is C. Sandbox. You will find options related to the isolation mode and location for the assembly. These refer to options that apply to on-premise deployments. Dataverse is not available for on-premises deployments, so you will always accept the default options of Sandbox and Database for these options. Question 17. An organization uses a public-facing Power Apps portal. You need to change the layout of a specific web page. What are two possible ways to achieve the goal? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Select the portal management app and then select edit. B. Select the portal management app and then select play. C. Select the portal app and then select manage. Or D. Select the portal app and then select edit. The correct options among these four are A and D. About option A, the portal management app lets you do advanced configuration actions on your portal. First, open the portal management app, then go to portals, then to web pages. To edit an existing web page, select the web page name, enter appropriate values in the fields, and then lastly, select save and close. About option D, to use the editor, first edit the portal to open it in Power Apps Portals Studio. Secondly, select the page on which you want to add the component. And lastly, select an editable element on the canvas. Question 18. You plan to create a Canvas app to manage large sets of record. Users will filter and sort the data. You must implement delegation in the Canvas app to mitigate potential performance issues. You need to recommend data sources for the app. Which two data sources should you recommend? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. SQL Server, B. Common Data Service, C. Azure Data Factory, or D. Azure Table Storage. The two correct options are A and B, that is SQL Server and Common Data Service. When you are creating reports from large data sources, you want to minimize network traffic. Working with large datasets requires using data sources and formulas that can be delegated. It's the only way to keep your app performing well and ensure users can access all the information they need. Delegation is supported for certain tabular data sources only. These tabular data sources are the most popular and they support delegation, Common Data Service, SharePoint, SQL Server. Question 19. You are creating a Canvas app to retrieve user sign-in information from Microsoft Azure Active Directory when someone searches for information about an end user. You create an Azure function to retrieve the required information by using JSON. You need to ensure that the application functions correctly. Which two actions should you perform? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Create a Power Automate flow to import data. B. Create a custom connector by using the Azure Function API. C. Use App Designer in the Power Platform Admin Center. D. Use Azure Service Bus. Or E. Create an API definition for the Azure function. The correct options are B and E, that is, create a custom connector by using the Azure Function API and create an API definition for the Azure function. To ensure that the application functions correctly, you should create a custom connector by using the Azure Function app. This will allow you to connect your Canvas app to the Azure function to retrieve the user sign-in information. Additionally, you need to create an API definition for the Azure function. This will allow you to define the specific parameters and methods that your app will use to communicate with the Azure functions. Question 20. You are creating business logic that performs operations on data in Dataverse. You need to ensure the business logic is performed as part of a Dataverse transaction. Which two actions should you perform? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Select all answers that apply. Our options are A. Build a Dataverse plugin. B. Create a Power Automate cloud flow. C. Register a webhook for an Azure function. Or D. Register a service endpoint for Azure Service Bus. The correct options are B and D, that is, create a Power Automate cloud flow and register a service endpoint for Azure Service Bus. For the business logic to be performed as part of the transaction, the business logic must run synchronously. Both Dataverse plugins and webhooks can be configured to run synchronously. Power Automate cloud flows are triggered and run asynchronously. Integration with Service Bus is performed asynchronously. Question 21. You are creating a model-driven app in Power Apps. You need to display additional data about a row that is referenced by a lookup column on a form. Which type of form should you create? Select only one answer. Our options are A. Quick Create, B. Quick View, C. Card, or D. Main. The correct option is B. Quick View. Quick View forms provide additional data for the row that is referenced by a lookup column in the form. Question 22. You are configuring a custom connector for a web service. The web service is hosted in two different regions. The web service URL includes a common domain name and a unique subdomain for each region. The custom connector must allow the region to be entered for additional regions when creating the connection. You need to create a policy template. Which template type should you use? Our options are A. Set HTTP header, B. Root request, C. Set host URL, D. Set query string parameter. The correct option is C. Set host URL. The custom connector needs to allow the region to be entered, and the URL includes a unique subdomain for each region, so the host URL needs to be set dynamically based on the region entered by the user. The template type, quote-unquote, set host URL, allows you to set the host name of the request URL dynamically. Question 23. A financial institution that has a Dynamics 365 sales environment requires that the account balance field from the account entry be visible to specific users only. You need to set up the field security for the account balance field. Which three actions should you perform? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Set the field to read only and then publish the entity. B. Set the field permission allow read to yes and add the users to the members section. C. Create a security role and add the specific users to the role. D. Enable field security and then publish the entity. Or E. Create a field security profile. The correct options among these are B, D, and E. To implement field level security, a system administrator performs the following tasks. First, enable field security on one or more fields for a given entity. Secondly, associate one more existing security profiles or create one or more new security profiles to grant the appropriate access to specific users or teams. A security profile determines the following: permissions to the secure fields, users and teams. A security profile can be configured to grant user or team members the following permissions at the field level. Read only access to the field's data. Create, users or teams in this profile can add data to this field when creating a record. Update, users or teams in this profile can update the field's data after it has been created. Question 24. A travel company has a common data service environment. The company requires the following: custom entities that track which regions clients have traveled, the dates their clients traveled to these regions. You need to create the entities and the relationships to meet the requirements. Which three actions should you perform? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. The correct options are C, D, and F. Create an intersect entity named contact region and create one ratio and relationships to contact and region. On the main form for contact region, add lookup fields for contact and region and a date field for the visit date, and create the region entity. Need a region entity, a intersect entity contact region between contact and region, and a way to input region visits. Question 25. Drag drop. A company uses Microsoft 365. You are developing a model-driven app. The app must meet the following requirements. Uses SharePoint Online for document storage. Send emails by using Exchange Online. You need to configure integrations. What should you configure? To answer, drag the appropriate configuration options to the correct requirements. Each configuration option may be used once, more than once, or not at all. You may need to drag the split bar between panes or scroll to view content. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. The configuration options provided to us are server-side synchronization, server-based integration, dual write, system settings. To the answer area, requirement, email. The correct option is server-side synchronization. To the next requirement, document storage. The correct option is server-based integration. About box 1, configure default email processing and synchronization. Set server-side synchronization to be the default configuration method for newly created users. About box 2, if your organization is already using document management with Microsoft Dynamics CRM list component, you must switch to server-based SharePoint integration. If your organization has not deployed document management, when a system administrator logs in, an alert message will be displayed to enable server-based SharePoint integration. Question 26. Hotspot. You are troubleshooting Power App solutions. You need to determine the cause for the identified issues. What is the root cause for each issue? To answer, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Note, each correct solution is worth 1 point. To the answer area, issue. Solution checker completes a run and reports errors for one solution but completes without errors for a different solution. Our options are: a Canvas app in the first solution has errors. The Power Apps Checker application user is disabled. The correct option is a Canvas app in the first solution has errors. To the next statement, you encountered an error on line 3 of a web resource as shown below. Our options are: the code uses the following rule, web avoid eval. The code uses the following rule, web remove debug script. The code uses the following rule, web avoid models. The code uses the following rule, web use strict mode. The correct option is the code uses the following rule, web use strict mode. Question 27. Hotspot. You are creating a package for a Power Platform solution. The package will include custom code and sample data. The package must include all files that need to be installed. You need to configure the package. Which setting should you use? To answer, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, configuration option. File that you must edit to include custom code. Our options are package template.cs, import config.xml, crm sdk templates.v6, complex import detail.log. The correct option is package template.cs. To the next statement, file to edit to include sample data. Our options are crm sdk templates.v6, solution package file name .zip, import config.xml, package template.cs. The correct option is import config.xml. To the next statement, value for the copy to output directory settings. Our options are copy always, do not copy, copy if newer, empty. The correct option is copy always. About box 1, define custom code for your package in the package template.cs file. About box 2, the sample data and some flat files for solutions specified in the import config.xml file are imported before the solution import completes. About box 3, set the copy to output directory value to copy always. This ensures that your file is available in the generated package. Question 28. Drag drop. A company has a common data service environment. All accounts in the system with a relationship type of customer set must have an account number. A plugin has been developed. When a customer is updated with a relationship type, the plugin sets the account number if not provided by the user. You need to register the plugin. Which 3 actions should you perform in sequence? To answer, move the appropriate actions from the list of actions to the answer area and arrange them in the correct order. Select and place. The actions provided to us are: in the plugin registration tool, select register new image, change the image type to be a post image, and ensure the account number is included as a parameter. In the plugin registration tool, select register new image, change the image type to be a pre-image, and ensure the account number is included as a parameter. In the plugin registration tool, select register new step and set the message to update, primary entity to account, and event pipeline stage of pre-validation. In the plugin registration tool, select register new assembly. In the plugin registration tool, select register new step, set the message to update, primary entity to account, and event pipeline stage of pre-operation. The correct options are: in the plugin registration tool, select register new assembly. Then, in the plugin registration tool, select register new step, set the message to update, primary entity to account, and event pipeline stage of pre-operation. And finally, in the plugin registration tool, select register new image, change the image type to be a pre-image, and ensure the account number is included as a parameter. About step 1, you use the PRT to register your plugin assemblies and steps. Registering an assembly is the process of uploading the assembly to the Dataverse database. About step 2, pre-operation occurs before the main system operation and within the database transaction. If you want to change any value for an entity included in the message, you should do it here. About step 3, if your plugin step is registered in the pre-validation or pre-operation stages of the execution pipeline, you could use the organization service to retrieve the current value of the property, but this is not a good practice for performance. A better practice is to define a pre-entity image with your plug-in step registration. Question 29. You are developing a model-driven app for a company. The app must map child records to a parent record. You need to use the column mapping feature to configure the app. Which two actions can you perform? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Map the value of a choices column on the child table to the value of a choices column on the parent table. B. Map the value of a column on the parent table that uses column values from the child table. C. Map the value of columns on both the child table quick create and main forms to the value for the same columns on the parent table. Or D. Map the value of a single line of text column on the child table to the value of a currency column on the parent record. The correct options among these are A and C. Question 30. Hotspot. A company delivers packages to a business and consumers. A custom entity named package captures the package details. You need to add the following set of fields to the entity and leverage the built-in operations of the platform. A set of fields to represent the package length, width, depth, and weight. The maximum value for any dimension is 100 centimeters. A set of fields for time-sensitive attributes to calculate the efficiency of a delivery. The calculation must be based on if a delivery is entered in the system and the value for a custom field named delivery time. Which constructs should you use? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, requirement. Calculate the efficiency of the delivery. Our options are different minutes, bracket on, created on, comma, modified on, bracket off, different minutes, bracket on, created on, comma, delivery time, bracket off, different hours, bracket on, created on, modified on, bracket off, different hours, bracket on, created on, comma, delivery time, bracket off. The correct option is different minutes, bracket on, created on, comma, delivery time, bracket off. To the next requirement, select the data type for delivery that has additional transformations applied before the data is displayed. Our options are auto number, phone number, customer, currency, duration. The correct option is duration. About box 1, different minutes returns the difference in minutes between two date and time columns. About box 2, a number value presented as a drop-down list that contains time intervals. A user can select a value from the list or type an integer value that represents the number of minutes. The duration must be entered in the format x minutes, comma, x hours or x days. Hours and days can also be entered using decimals. For example, x.x hours or x.x days. The values entered must be expressible in minutes. Sub-minute values will be rounded to the nearest minute. Question 31. Drag drop. A company is creating a new system based on the Microsoft Dataverse. You need to select the Dataverse features that meet the company's requirements. Which features should you select? To answer, drag the appropriate features to the correct requirements. Each feature may be used once, more than once, or not at all. You may need to drag the split bar between panes or scroll to view content. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. The features provided to us are Cascade User Owned, Referential Restrict Delete, Referential, Parental. To the answer area, requirement. When a primary record is deleted, the associated referential records must also be deleted. The correct option for this is referential. To the next statement, when a record is assigned to a user, all referencing active records must also be assigned to that user. Here, the correct feature to use is Cascade User Owned. To the last requirement, when a primary record is deleted, the associated record must not be deleted. The correct option is Referential Restrict Delete. About box 1, active/cascade active one-to-many entity relationship. Perform the action on all active referencing entity records associated with the referenced entity record. Box 2, cascade user owned. Perform the action on all referencing entity records owned by the same user as the referenced entity record. About box 3, restrict. Prevent the referenced entity record from being deleted when referencing entities exist. Question 32, hotspot. A company has a common data service environment. The following conditions must apply when accounts are reassigned. Ownership for completed tasks that are associated with the account must not change. Outstanding tasks must be reassigned to the new owner of the account. You need to configure the relationship to meet the requirements. Which setting should you use? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, condition, relationship behavior type. Our options are referential, referential restrict delete, parental, configurable cascading. The correct option is referential restrict delete. To the next statement, behavior for the assigned action. Our options are cascade none, cascade all, cascade active, cascade user owned. The correct option is cascade user owned. About box 1, prevent the referenced table record from being deleted when referencing tables exist. About box 2, perform the action on all referencing table records owned by the same user as the referenced table record. Question 33, hotspot. You work for a not-for-profit agency that manages business processes by using Power Platform custom entities. Volunteer registration and onboarding are manual processes that include multiple related entities. You need to implement a portal solution that replaces the manual processes. Which modules should you use? To answer, select the appropriate options in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, requirement, create a portal by using a portal template. Our options are starter portal, community portal, customer self-service portal. The correct option is customer self-service portal. To the next statement, manage volunteer registration. Our options are entity form metadata, web form step. The correct option is entity form metadata. About box 1, a customer self-service portal enables customers to access self-service knowledge, support resources, view the progress of their cases, and provide feedback. About box 2, the advanced form metadata contains additional behavior modification logic to augment or override the functionality of form fields that is otherwise not possible with native basic form editing capabilities. Question 34, hotspot. A client is deploying Dynamics 365 Finance without any third-party add-ons. You need to select the appropriate solution for the client. What should you select? To answer, select the appropriate option in the answer area. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, scenario. Warehouse employees can use mobile devices to scan barcodes by using Dynamics 365 Finance. Our options are out of the box, logic apps, Power Automate, Common Data Service. The correct option is out of the box. To the next statement, the location of field technicians can be communicated with a text message from Dynamics 365 Field Service. Our options are Common Data Service, Workflow, Power Automate. The correct option is Power Automate. About box 1, technicians can use the Field Service mobile app to scan barcodes. About box 2, administrators can replace Dynamics 365 workflows with Power Automate flows for field service mobile processes like geofencing, geofence alerts, and push notifications. By using Power Automation for field service mobile processes, you can connect and run workflows within Dynamics 365 and between other outside applications, delete records and schedule jobs, perform robust approvals. Question 35. A company manages capital equipment for an electric utility company. The company has a SQL Server database that contains maintenance records for the equipment. Technicians who service the equipment use the Dynamics 365 Field Service mobile app on tablet devices to view scheduled assignments. Technicians use a Canvas app to display the maintenance history for each piece of equipment and update the history. Managers use a Power BI dashboard that displays Dynamics 365 field service and real-time maintenance data. Due to increasing demand, managers must be able to work in the field as technicians. You need to design a solution that allows the managers to work from one single screen. What should you do? Our options are A. Add the maintenance history app to the field service mobile app. B. Add the manager Power BI dashboard to the field service mobile app. C. Create a new maintenance canvas app from within the Power BI management dashboard. Or D. Add the maintenance history app to the Power BI dashboard. The correct option is D. Add the maintenance history app to the Power BI dashboard. Power BI enables data insights and better decision making, while Power Apps enables everyone to build and use apps that connect to business data. Using the Power Apps visual, you can pass context-aware data to a Canvas app which updates in real time as you make changes to your report. Now your app users can derive business insights and take actions from right within their Power BI reports and dashboards. Question 36. You are a Power Apps maker creating a chatbot for a website. The chatbot must recognize geographic attributes to enable additional functionality. You need to recommend a feature. What should you recommend? Our options are A. Fallback topic, B. Power Automate flow, C. Bot service compliance, or D. Slot filling. The correct option is D. Slot filling. Question 37. You develop and deploy a Power Apps solution. The following changes must be made to the solution. Delete a column of data, modify several views, add several charts to dashboards. You need to redeploy the app. What should you do? Our options are A. Update the solution, B. Upgrade the solution, C. Create a new solution, or D. Patch the solution. The correct option is B. Upgrade the solution. Question 38. You are mapping data from an enterprise resource planning system to Microsoft Dataverse. You must reference the name and email from the ERP system during mapping to ensure that records are unique. You need to create an alternate key that references the name and email columns. How should you create the key? Our options are A. Add a Power Apps command function, B. Use Power FX, C. Add column to the account table in Dataverse, or D. Create a key in the account table in Dataverse. The correct option is D. Create a key in the account table in the Dataverse. Question 39. You develop a model-driven app. You add the following users as members to the sales Microsoft Azure Active Directory security group: User 1, User 2, and User 3. The sales Azure AD security group is linked to a pre-existing Microsoft Dataverse Azure AD security group team that is associated with the sales security role. You assign each of the appropriate licenses to each user. User 1 is not listed in the team members subgrid for the app. User 2 and User 3 are listed in the subgrid. You need to ensure that User 1 can use the model-driven app. What should you do? Our options are A. Change the membership of the sales Azure AD security group to dynamic users, B. Change the membership type for User 1 to owner in the Azure AD security group, C. Create an owner team for the members of the sales Azure AD group, or D. Ask User 1 to sign into the model-driven app. The correct option is D. Ask User 1 to sign into the model-driven app. Question 40. You have a model-driven app. You plan to integrate the app with a third-party application. Users must be able to launch the third-party application by selecting a button on the command bar on a form in the model-driven app. You need to edit the ribbon to add the button. What are two possible ways to achieve this goal? Each answer presents a complete solution. Select all answers that apply. Our options are A. Create JavaScript code, B. Use a ribbon workbench, C. Use a business rule, or D. Modify the ribbon XML markup. The correct options are B and D, that is, use ribbon workbench and modify the ribbon XML markup. There are only two supported ways of doing this, by using ribbon workbench or editing the ribbon XML directly.